Hi, and welcome to our surrogacy question and answer. My name is Rhonda Blair, and I'm the Director of Case Management. I am also a four-time surrogate. Joining me today are a few FSC surrogates at various stages of their journeys, and all of these surrogates have been surrogates at least one time and are completed multiple journeys. So let's begin with some introductions. If each of you could tell us your name, where you're at in a current surrogacy journey, and how many journeys you've had. Joy, let's start with you.
My name is Joy Rillick. I am currently 28 weeks pregnant on my second surrogacy journey. My intended parents are the same couple both times, and they live about an hour away from me in Chicago. So this will be, like I said, my second surrogacy, and we're about almost done. We're in the home stretch.
Wonderful, thank you. Amber, how about you?
Hello, my name is Amber. I had just completed my second surrogacy journey with international couples.
Wonderful, thank you. Nicole?
My name is Nicole, and I've completed 2 surrogacy journeys. I'm currently not carrying, and both of my intended parents were local to me.
Wonderful, thank you. Kim?
Hello, I am Kim Conway, and I have completed 3 surrogacy journeys for 3 separate families, both domestic and international.
Wonderful, thank you. And as we said, I am in my 4th surrogacy journey right now. I am 10 weeks along. My first 3 journeys were with international intended parents. So we're going to do this as a round robin. I'm going to ask each of you guys a question, and we're going to go around and answer it, and then we'll come back to the next question. So we'll start with you, Joy. When did you decide that you were ready for another journey?
I think it was at heartbeat confirmation with our first journey. The second we realized that this was something that we could do, we had already started talking about how many my parents might want and if they'd want to do a second. And so I think it was a little bit earlier for me because it was the same couple. And we knew that going into it, that there was the possibility of having another. But have I decided if I'm going to do more? Yes, I already have. So as long as this delivery goes well and my body reacts well, I mean, my health is important, but as long as we know, then I am already planning on a third.
That's so exciting. Yay. Amber, how about you? When did you decide that you were ready for another journey?
It was after my first journey, about a year and a half later. I actually heard from my case manager, and she was like, "Are you interested in doing this again?" And had already introduced me to a couple, and I couldn't say no.
Oh, that sounds so sweet. Nicole, when did you decide you were ready for another journey for you?
I decided pretty much during my first journey. I had such a great pregnancy, and I loved my intended parents, and I thought, let's do it again.
That's great. Kim, how about you? I know you've had a couple of them here, so let's start with your first one. When did you decide during that one? And then let's progress to your next one.
So actually, after my first one, it was my husband who decided. He had so much fun with our first couple. He asked me, "Do you want to do it again?" And I thought, okay, let's do it again. So I did it again. And after that journey, it was probably about 6 months later, I just had the feeling that I had to do it one more time.
Oh, that's so sweet. So, and as for me, with my first journey, I delivered twins, and the parents thought that they wanted more children. So we kept that open, and then they came back and decided they didn't. So since we already had agreed to do a journey for them, we decided to be rematched. I was rematched with another couple, and at 6 months, they asked me to do a sibling journey, 6 months pregnant. So we went forward and did a sibling journey with them. And then they had wanted a third, and I was disqualified from their fertility center due to my age. And found the couple that I'm with now. So we figured we'd already got that far. Let's keep going. Joy, what did your partner or children think of you being a surrogate for a second time?
Everybody was really supportive. I think my parents had a little bit of trepidation just because I'm their baby girl and they don't want anything to happen. And then my children protested a little bit, but only because they really hate that I'm at the hospital for 3 days. Well, 2 days, 3 days if I stretch it. And so they just didn't want me to leave home. But now they're all on board. Everybody's really supportive, and it's a really great feeling.
Wonderful. Amber, what did your partner or children think of you being a surrogate again?
I love the idea. We had a lot of fun with our first intended parents and the first surrogacy journey. My girls are all older. I was able to explain to them the whole process, and they were very involved. Some of them came with me to my doctor's appointments just because they liked. Yeah. Unfortunately, my intended parents could not come with me because they were international, but it was still a really good experience for my kids, and they really enjoyed the whole process, as did I.
Wonderful. Nicole, how about you? What did your partner and children think of you doing another journey?
But my kids and both my husband were all for it. My family even too. My first journey was really flawless, so we all thought, why not?
Kim, how about you? Obviously, we know your partner wanted the second journey, but what did your kids think about it, and how did they feel with your third journey?
So when we started the first journey, my youngest was maybe 2, 3, and my kids were really young. So then when we did the second journey, they just, they were still young, didn't care. And by the third journey, to them, it was just a way of life. And they would, tell their friends when their friends saw me pregnant, and they would say, oh, you're having a baby brother or sister. And they go, no, my mom's just a surrogate. And other kids look at them like, what's that? And my kids kind of know the whole process. And to them, it's just normal.
Wonderful. So for me, my partner and children, what they thought about the journey, kind of a mix of all of you guys. My youngest was 3 when I was in my first journey, so she didn't quite understand it. My older children were 11 and 12 years old. So when I told them we were doing another journey, our oldest daughter's like, wait, what? You're going to do that again? Where the boys are like, okay, whatever. And then the youngest started realizing it as we've doing journeys multiple times, and she's excited. She's like, where are we at? Are you having transfer? Do you need help with medications? What's the next step? Whereas our big kids are like, whatever, mom, this is normal now. So Joy, you talked about having another journey besides this one here with new sets of intended parents. So is there something different you would look for in your matching criteria for your new journey?
I don't know. I've both times it's been with a domestic couple, with the same clinic, with the same routines. And so there's a part of me that wants to completely switch it up and pick like the most different couple that I can find. Maybe they'd be international, same sex in California, or, like something exciting. But then there's also that thought in the back of my mind that like, I know this routine and I know it works. So maybe I would want to stick with it. So I haven't quite decided yet, but I like that the option is there, and that there's a lot of people that need help. So it's good that I have the opportunity to work with whoever might fit me the best.
I love that. Thank you for your feedback. Amber, you've had 2 different journeys with different parents. Did you have different matching criteria between the 2 of them?
Yes, the first international couple I worked with was from China, and it was very good and interesting to learn about their culture and speak with them. But I wanted a more open relationship with my intended parents for my second round. And the second time it was for a couple from Spain. Again, it was interesting learning about their way of life, their, holidays and everything. But this couple and I communicated every day and still do every day after the journey's been over.
Aw, that's wonderful. Love hearing that. Nicole, how about you? Did you have a different matching criteria from your first journey to your next journey?
I really didn't have a criteria that I was looking for until after it actually happened. My first journey, my intended parents already had kids, 4 or 5, and my second journey was with a couple that didn't have kids. So that was all the new appointments and new beginnings. It was really cool.
That's really interesting. That's great to hear. How about you, Kim? Did you have different matching criteria between your first and your second, or your second and your third?
Nope. I just looked at the profiles presented to me and I actually narrowed them down to my favorites and then let my husband choose.
Wow. There you go. Nice. I like hearing that. So for me, I did have one small change in my matching criteria between my first and my second journey. So my first journey, my intended parents were from France. One spoke English and one did not. So my requirement for my second journey was that at least one parent speak English, which was fine because they did in my first journey, but I did not want to have to try to figure out how to communicate with 2 parents that didn't speak English. The parents from France showed up early because I started having labor and contractions early, being pregnant with twins. So we were trying to have conversations and it was difficult for him to understand me because the one that showed up early is the one that didn't speak English. So that was my biggest matching criteria after that. And then after that, I, was pretty open. So Joy, do you feel that you were more prepared for your new journey? And if so, how?
Oh, I think everybody is. I mean, everything with the first journey is just so new and exciting. And even after doing it one time, it's amazing how much you can feel like a pro with medications and knowing what's to come from the clinic. And like I said, my journeys were very similar since I had the same kind of things. So it was nice to see like the same doctors and the same faces and just kind of knew like I knew where to park. Like it's amazing how much that can make a difference.
Sounds great. Amber, how about you? Did you feel more prepared for the new journey? And if so, how?
Yes, I knew the whole protocol, the steps in place. It was quick to know what was next. It just made it all so much easier knowing what was to happen because of the first journey. Wonderful. Now, I did go to a different clinic than Joy and everything, but it was still, the same routine.
It's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Nicole, how about you? Did you feel more prepared from your first journey to your next one? And if so, how?
I did. I really felt like with the first journey, the meds, I was a little leery. That was tough to get through. But then the second round, it really just, I felt kind of like it was more streamlined and it was just a lot easier.
Wonderful. Kim, how about you? Did you feel more prepared from your first journey to your third? And how did you see the changes between all of those?
I did. So with my first journey, we actually got pregnant on the very first transfer. And with my second journey, it was a different clinic who had different medication protocols. And so I was on different medications and I could even tell that my body felt different from the first journey. And the first embryo transfer actually did fail. So I was able to come, speaking from experience, ask the clinic to put me on the medication schedule that the first clinic did. And they did. And then we had a successful transfer. So I liked the fact that I knew how my body would react to medications and I could, talk to the clinic, and it was better to have that first experience and, go into the second one knowing how you should feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. For me, I kind of feel the same way. Being more prepared for my first journey or for my second journey versus my first journey. The difference though is that kind of like Kim, and I used the same fertility center for both of them, but there was a different medication protocol between the two journeys. So there were failed transfers for between my first journey and my second journey. And then in my second and third journey, same medication protocol, same doctor still. We had a failed and then we had a successful. And then in this one, the doctor said, hey, you know, this medication protocol has worked for you. We are not making that switch. So they kept me on that same medication protocol, and so far so good. So it is amazing how much changes are in there as well. So Joy, what do you see as your differences between the journeys? I know you're caring for the same couple you did before, but do you see differences in your first journey and your second journey?
I think for me, the biggest difference is just how much more relaxed and calm everyone is, because it's the same couple, because it's the same everything like we've done before. And now they already have a kid. So, you know, it's that newness is gone too. So everything has just been very calm, very relaxed. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. Everything has gone how it's supposed to go, which is really nice. And I think that the more journeys you do, hopefully that should continue. You should always have that more confidence and comfortable feeling.
Wonderful. Thank you. Amber, how about you? How were your journeys different? Obviously, you didn't carry for the same couple like Joy did. So how were your journeys different?
So I guess it was more confidence and me knowing what the next steps were. Although the couple was different, I was able to, you know, be supportive to them when they were worried. It's okay. This is coming up next. So I've already got it. I'm playing ahead of the game. So I felt like it made things easier in that aspect for them and me too.
All right. Wonderful. Nicole, how were your journeys different?
So like I mentioned before, my first journey, she had already had kids, and she was able to deliver on her own with her first child. And with the second journey, the intended mother was not ever able to carry or get pregnant. So that was a big difference in that. The emotions around that too was a little more involved in the second journey than it was in the first journey, just because everything was new and she really hadn't experienced those feelings. So it was a good difference though, I'll say.
Wonderful. Thank you. Kim, with your multiple journeys, are there differences between the first and second, the second and third, the first and the third?
Yes. So with my first one, it was a domestic couple, and the intended mother was very, very involved. She would fly out to doctor's appointments when she could. We'd go out to lunch, always talking, and she got excited at every little thing, anything and everything. And it was kind of fun and awkward for me because I couldn't believe how somebody could be so excited at somebody else's pregnancy. And then for the second journey, it was an international couple, and there was a little bit of language barrier. And so it just wasn't, they didn't get excited. They were more stressed because we were a continent away, but it was still a great relationship that we had. We didn't get to see them until the end. They came and stayed their 3 weeks with us in our house. So we got to know them very well.
Wow.
And we had a lot of fun with them. But during the actual journey part of the pregnancy, it was less communication just because of the time difference and the language barrier. And then for the third one, it was another domestic couple, and her and I were just so busy with work during that pregnancy that both of us would be like, oh, sorry, we forgot to talk. And neither one of us cared. And she knew that things were going to progress, and she didn't have to be involved in everything, but we did talk a lot, and it was great. And I'm still friends with all of them to this day, still get photos, videos, and updates.
Oh, that's great. It's so amazing to hear the differences between everybody's journeys too. So for me, the difference between my journeys, so between my first one, we communicated through an app called WhatsApp. So we were communicating through WhatsApp, but we'd communicate like every week or two. So it's very spotty. And then, you know, we kept in touch after delivery. They were great. They were here for a couple of weeks. So it was really nice, but they did come in, they were international. They flew in for the ultrasound. So it was great to be able to meet them in person prior to actually delivering the baby. So that was nice. They get to meet my family and everything. So it was amazing. And then with my second and third journey, because they're both the same couple, they were from Spain, and we would communicate through WhatsApp multiple times a week. For all of my OB appointments, we would video chat with them so they could listen to the baby's heartbeat. They can talk to the doctor. So it was just amazing to see how involved they were for that whole entire process. And then they came in the day before I delivered, they showed up, and then they were here for a couple of weeks. So we didn't get a lot of like one-on-one communication when they were here, but we did get that growth there. And then for my new journey, we're doing a lot of, they're a domestic couple, and we do a lot of group texting. So we talk a couple of times a week and just see how everybody's going. So it's really nice to see the differences between all the different journeys and how people felt with them. All right, guys, last question. Joy, what would you tell someone who's considering doing another journey?
I think that the most important thing is just like really look into your heart and see how you felt about the first journey and how you physically reacted. If your body handled it well and you're mentally ready to do another one, why not? Go for it. And that's kind of the mentality I've always taken with mine. As long as I'm capable of doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Awesome. Thank you. How about you, Amber? What would you tell a surrogate who's thinking about another journey?
I would tell them just to go for it. If you're thinking about it, if you're like me, you're going to do it anyway. Because it's, you know, it's already there in your mind. For me, my first journey was good. I was healthy, had a good labor and delivery, good pregnancy overall. And I just couldn't say no because there's so many people out there that need help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Nicole, what would you tell a surrogate who's contemplating a new journey?
I think I would say what everyone else has already said. If it's on your heart and you're really thinking you should, just do it. As long as everything was physically okay and mentally okay, I say go for it.
Yeah, I agree. Kim, how about you? What would you tell a surrogate who's contemplating a new journey?
Just the same, go for it. But to Joy specifically, if you want something different, I do suggest on the new journey, do something different, have a different experience, have fun with it.
I love that advice. So my recommendation, kind of like all of yours, to a surrogate who's considering doing a new journey is, you know, like you said, go for it. Think about what you had in this journey. Think about what you liked and disliked in this current journey, and look for those things that you disliked to be able to choose a different path for your new journey. So whether it's, you know, like between my first two journeys, that I wanted to make sure I had a couple that at least one of them spoke English. If that's your new requirement, use your new requirement. Make sure you know what's going to be best for you and your family. And as long as you guys are all on board and everyone is healthy, then definitely go for another journey. There's so many intended parents out there that are waiting for experienced, wonderful surrogates like our surrogates that we have here. So we appreciate that. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your surrogacy journeys, being a surrogate multiple times. It's amazing to just think that right here, we have given birth to so many babies in this group. So let's just do a real quick count, including being pregnant right now. Joy, how many have you delivered for surrogates? Two. Amber? Two. Nicole?
2.
Kim?
4.
And I've delivered 4. So we've delivered 12 babies between all of us. So that's amazing. Think of the families we've helped. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today and for doing what you do as surrogates. We really appreciate you. Thank you.